Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today I am having a blueberry bagel, and it just makes me really happy. And it makes me think of this quote about simple people, simple pleasures. And I am very much a simple person. I I don't really like go in for all the fast cars and crazy jewelry, big tattoos, anything like remotely expensive. I just not really my vibe. The flashy stuff. I just don't really like it. Um, and I don't know if it's like partly because here's the bagel, by the way. Partly because my parents like raised us like this. Because like we grew up on a pig farm, so um, we were raised very frugally, very carefully, told to like manage money very good. But we also grew up with like a lot of very simple things. Like we would play outside. We didn't have like a whole lot of access to technology until I was like, I don't know, like 15 or 16 years old. Certainly no social media back then, which I'm very happy for. But I think like a lot of it has to do with like how I was raised and sort of the qualities instilled by my parents. Sorry, I'm doing the cream cheese. The qualities infused in like what my parents taught and sort of that kind of stuff. And also just not being exposed to the really expensive stuff. I don't have any like nostalgia or desire for it, like I look at that stuff and I'm like, okay, but it's not really that amazing or groundbreaking or anything like that. Here, let's do that. So I think there's like several factors, and it's like just like who I am as a person. Like I much prefer experiences over, flashy things or expensive things. So I would much rather hang out with you at like a park than go to some incredibly expensive restaurant and eat like two little things of food or whatever that don't, it's not like I'm still hungry afterwards. I'm like, why would I do that? Like I'm not interested in like beluga caviar and Rolex watches or something like that. So, but I think if you can develop those like simple habits, those like simple joys in life, you really become incredibly powerful because you're not dependent on other people for happiness or joy or pleasure. And, the things that do bring you joy and pleasure aren't hard to achieve. You can kind of do them every single day and it's really easy. Like going for a walk with my dogs. Like that's a great example of something where I can do it and it doesn't cost anything and it is so nice. And their little faces when they're like looking for mice in the fields or, chasing foxes in the woods. That's like all the joy I need. Like I really don't need much else than that. Just like relaxing, enjoying, maybe listening to music, maybe, but most of the time just listening to like birds and enjoying it. So I think I'm gonna put you over here. I think the ability to have those simple pleasures is in all of us. I think it's very simple to achieve. Part of it is like removing those kinds of things from your daily life. So like if you watch, I can shut that. If you watch a bunch of social media videos and things like that of people driving Lamborghinis and, flying to the Maldives and, living fast, if you watch all of that stuff, you're kind of going to want it. You're going to like secretly envy it. And there'll be something in the back of your head sort of being like, why isn't my life like this? Why aren't I doing these things? Why aren't I jet setting and, wearing Louis Vuitton and those kinds of things? But if you choose to surround yourself with people and things and social media that explores the beauty of nature, talks about the joy of a cup of coffee, gardening, there's a lot of like very simple pleasure in reading books and relaxing and doing the things that you like to do that aren't exorbitant or crazy or financially devastating. And I think there isn't a lot of that preached on social media. Like the simple joys in life are kind of hated on and demonized and, oh, well, that's so boring. Like you just like to read, that's lame. Or you like drawing, that's dumb. Whereas we put on a pedestal all of the expensive celebrity hobbies and interests and perspectives, and we kind of glorify it when in fact it's really not like a glorious thing. Like you're talking about, I don't know, just these really hollow desires and these things that are primarily for making people look at you and envy you. You know, like when you drive a fast car, one of the reasons that you like driving the fast car is that everyone is watching you drive the fast car. And so that's not really a genuine hobby. That's not really a genuine pleasure, you know? If your pleasure from something derives from showing everybody like, oh, look at me doing this thing, that's not really a good pleasure to have in life, because you are dependent on other people looking at you and going, oh, look at him, he's driving a Mercedes-Benz or whatever. And I think that takes a lot of the inherent joy out of something, because we can all showboat. We can all go, oh, look at this one thing in my life that's really cool and I'm proud of and I'm connected to. But at the end of the day, like, people really don't care that much. Like, when I see a very fast car or something, I look at it and I appreciate like the engineering and the skill of it and the beauty of something, but I don't associate the person driving it with anything. You know, I don't notice them. I don't even, you know, register them. I don't give them any kind of like second thought, really. And that's gone for a lot of things. You know, when I see a woman wearing like a Louis Vuitton bag or a Gucci belt or whatever, I don't think about, oh, this person must be valuable. This person must be, you know, prestigious. I just think like, oh, that's a really tacky and expensive thing that you're wearing that, you know, conveys, it's conveying a message, right? Like it's conveying like a I'm better than everyone else kind of message. It's conveying this idea of like, I have high fashion and style. And I don't value those things. Like I don't care about those things in the slightest. And when you cultivate simple pleasure in your life, when you cultivate just like the joy of connecting with a friend over coffee or going for a walk or reading and writing and drawing and watching your favorite show, when you just have this content, happy life where your pleasure in life is derived from very simple, very humble things, you're kind of immune to that entire language and media and marketing of you have to buy this, you have to keep up with the Joneses, you have to do this. And I think marketing really hates that, because there's no money to be made in simple living. There's no money to be made in having a simple pleasure for, you know, a nice breakfast and going for a walk. You know, there's very little money to be derived from it. And so our society is trying to constantly tell you that this is dumb. You need to go out to the really expensive brunch place and spend $200 and get a million mimosas, and you need to take pictures and look all bougie and be dressed up in your nicest pearls and all of this stuff. And that's like really screwed up. You know, I have had much better mornings just sitting at home, making breakfast for my friends after going out or whatever, or having some fun the night before, a movie night, whatever we did. I have had so much joy, like cooking breakfast for friends and just like chatting about the world, you know, gossiping, connecting with another person, and then like taking the dogs for a walk. Those mornings are so pure and so much fun and so enjoyable, and they don't really cost anything, you know, like $5 for a dozen eggs or something, and we're off to the races. So I really encourage anyone to really explore the idea of like simple pleasure and just going with the flow, enjoying life in the present and not worrying about, I need these shoes, I need the next best thing, I have to have like a coordinated aesthetic and style, and I need to pair it with a Gucci belt, and all of those things are so hollow, and you're really not going to care about them in 50 years. Like, you really aren't. If you fall in love with like a luxury item and you wear it every day, or you wear it for the next 50 years, and you know it's just something that you love, that's great. You've really like, you know, made it work for you. If you've worn it for 50 years, then it's sort of, you know, paid for itself almost. Like girl math, it's free. But to just get something to show off and to brag to other people, you really need to check your values of what brings you pleasure. Because if the only thing that brings you pleasure is showing off to other people and looking impressive for other people, you are constantly going to be in a deficit. You're constantly going to be feeling hurt and like you're not good enough, because you will never match everyone's expectations. You will never impress everyone, and you will never be able to fulfill yourself. It's an unfillable cup. It's vast and infinite. So why bother trying? Just change your whole perspective and realize that there's a lot of joy from simple pleasure. So that is my 2 cents. I'm gonna eat my bagel. And let me know what you think. And as always, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.